You have created a monster and it will destroy you.
She's alive! Alive!
I am Dracula.
Hi.
I think I left you muted that whole time just now. You might need to.
I was muted?
I couldn't hear
Okay, well, we're going to do this again, I guess. This is a part of our... actually, do you want to go back? We can do that in live. We can actually re-edit this.
I'll just show that part. And you can say
There we go. We'll edit it on the fly. So if you're joining us, you were a part of the wonderful contest that we've been having, The Road to Phantasm. All month long, we've been talking with some of the greatest guests that are going to be appearing there. And we're coming up on it fast. As you know, it's September 15th through the 17th. So, yeah, we're trying to get the last minute push. So this is the episode to share. Share everything you can. Share it to your friends, your groups, everything like that. Because we're going to tally those all up. And between now and the 13th, we're going to come up with a winner. And that winner is going to receive 2 weekend passes to Fantasm Orlando. And plus a swag bag. The total value is like $125. So you are going to want to see this. Want to share, because who wouldn't want to share this broadcast? We have with us a very beautiful and talented guest. We have grown up with her, Miss Felissa Rose.
Sweet. Thank you. Thanks for having me. And I
We-
cannot wait for Phantasm Orlando. We are going to have the best time.
Yes. It's always a good time in Orlando, but Phantasm is one of those shows that still has a lot of that, small knit family vibes to it. So it's a nice, different show. That's why we wanted to be a part of it.
Well, I love that because it's intimate. And for me, it's all about the connection between people. So when you see every one of the shows, it's lovely. You get to spend time with them and really be present, be in the moment, and talk about all of our favorite movies.
Right. And you have a ton of them. That's the thing, is that you've been doing this since when you were 14, I believe, 13?
I was 13 when I was in Sleepaway Camp. Yeah.
What led you to that? I mean, were you a kid that loved the arts and performing, or was that like a fluke?
I did. I always loved singing and dancing when I was like 2, 3 years old, like most little kids. And my parents took it really seriously. And they signed me up with a local manager. And then I started to really get into it. I loved my teachers. I loved the classmates. It was an everyday thing. I would be at the school right after school until late at night. And then I met a manager who sent me on my first audition for a little horror movie called Sleepaway Camp. And that's how it all began.
Yes, you might know that one. My fans that are out there watching Monster Manor, it was a little sleeper hit, right? No, this was a big deal when it came out. Was that a little bit of shock for you coming out of, just having fun and then boom, you're in a middle of a movie, much less Sleepaway Camp?
I remember that time very well, and I remember feeling so excited and so thankful because, like I said, it's something I really wanted to do, and now it was
Oh no.
it was like just the greatest joy to be on a set and to really experience what the craft of filmmaking was like. And to this day, I'm just so grateful and so happy for the experience. It was one of the greatest times of my life, truly.
Right. I can imagine. And I know that there was some contention in the characters, but what was it like behind the scene with the group of kids? I mean, there were kids and counselors and everything like that. Was it a fun set to be on?
Oh my gosh. We ranged in age from 13, I was the youngest, to like 18. We were real teenagers. We were real New York kids, obviously. We all talk like this. And I think that's some of the charm. I was at a show last week at the Mahoning Drive-In, and we were all talking about how the accents were hilarious, but it made it very unique and very genuine. And the
Hmm.
whole cast was like a family. It was like really going to sleepaway camp, and we had the best time playing volleyball,
Hmm.
kayaking, just spending time together as teenagers. Had a little
Yes.
boyfriend. It was all the good stuff.
Yeah, and your character was so demure, but I bet you, as soon as the camera stopped, you were having fun and gregarious, yelling and screaming just like any kid would.
Always just super
Mm.
fun.
That must
Love
have
the
been,
director.
yeah. And I mean, back then too, there was so much more fun in making movies. It seemed, or at least it seemed that way. I mean, back in the '80s, there was this very small knit feel to movies that it's gotten so big now.
Yeah, I mean, I've always remained in the smaller films and in the genre films and the independent market. So
Hmm.
for me, it's always been a family affair. I'm sort of the mom and pop of the film market, where I work with a lot of the same people, same directors, same actors, same DPs. And it's really
Mm.
nice because we get together a couple of times a year. We make movies, and it's all about the fun. And we always say it's about positivity and love and kindness. So our
Yeah.
sets are really happy.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. So I have to ask this question because I know my fans are probably out there listening and on bated breath with this. When did you find out how that, no spoilers here, that ending? I mean, when did you find that out and what were your thoughts that were going through your mind at that time?
Well, I was 12 years old when I first auditioned in May of 1982. And they sent me immediately to the agent's office to read the full script. And I was the only actor who had the entire script. And when I read it, I thought, wow, well, that's original and different. And it seemed like a good story,
Mm-hmm.
because you had the whole beginning with what was going on, the boating accident. Then you told the story of the kids at camp and the killer. And then
Mm-hmm.
at the very end, there was a reveal. So it seemed like it had a good story. I didn't understand social commentary until later on, but at
Yeah.
the time, it seemed like a unique horror movie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now especially, it seems like it was well ahead of its time, especially with what's going on. And I mean, did you have any inkling that this was going to be the cult classic that it is, and how it's kind of still touching people today?
I always say, like, there's a lot of like, boy can't keep going and fun. It's like meatballs with a
Hmm.
killer. Um, but I feel like with the bullying aspect, who didn't feel that way as a young teenager? So we all sort of relate to Angela. And certainly the the gender identification and sexual orientation, really and truly trying to figure that out as
Hmm.
the lens of the character. I think an audience today, and it's unique in that we're all human and we're all just trying to figure out how to navigate this world.
Hmm.
So if this one little movie sort of has that little kind of sort of feeling of
Agreed.
humanness, I think
Well, it was definitely. I mean, all the social commentary, and there was a lot in there. I mean, if you haven't seen the movie in a while, go back and watch it because there is so much that if you apply it to today, it's probably a film that couldn't have gotten made today, but it fits so well with the times.
yeah, I mean, definitely a movie like that has a lot going on. Certainly, I think most of us kind of like young and we're trying to figure out who we are during our adolescence. Um,
Hmm.
and today, we'll watch it, and it's probably more interesting, I think, today than back in the 80s. It wasn't
Mm,
relevant, I think, as it is today.
very
Very more
true.
interesting to have a conversation about Sleepaway Camp today than maybe it was in 1983.
Very true. And I mean, back then it was extremely shocking. I mean, I remember reading stories about the reactions in theaters. I missed it when it was out. We were in like a small town that didn't get every movie, but when that came out, you read about it, saw it in Fangoria. Even the news stations were saying this ending. They kind of spoiled it for everyone. They were telling parents not to see it. They were telling kids not to see it. And I mean, that's very dated. That's kind of like old way of thinking. But there
It's
was,
so
Your
crazy.
mother would have had a kid in
oh
me.
yeah, yeah,
And it's like I'm so happy that the world is changing and the kind of how we again take care of our neighbor and our friends and each other as we've really grown. And I hope, again, it leads to a conversation starting with a horror movie. I hope we can recognize that we're all so unique and wonderful in our
yes.
right. And it's important for us to embrace and be inclusive. That is the most important part of life.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. And I think with the way that we have learned from our past as well, that a character like Angela has become much more of an empathy on the part of the viewer. Before it might have been shock and awe and, oh my God, he was the killer all the time. But there has to be empathy. There has to be, this poor kid, everything that he went through.
Yes, absolutely. And I hope that is conjured up in people. I hope people feel that because certainly I would never want to see anyone hurt or anything. So
Yeah. Yep.
hopefully, I know Zoom screenings, fortunately, across the country and national, that it's opens up the conversation. People are receptive and spend time discussing the movie and even just again all the social commentary that's attached to little
Right.
movie.
Right. And you
Makes
you
me so
spearhearted.
happy.
I'm sorry?
It makes me so happy.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you were a champion. You spearheaded that whole conversation.
I hope to be a part of any little conversation. Just
Yes.
I'm raising kids like I told you, and the most important thing for me, that they're aware of you know any kind of human interaction,
Mhm.
level of love and kindness, and to be genuine and authentic to who you are.
Yes. Yes, and I think that all starts with communication and a little bit more compassion.
Yes,
We need so much of that nowadays.
yes, yes. I could stand on a rooftop and that's
And
just
your
the
puppy
only thing I want to
dogs.
do in life. And if I get to
And two
meet
puppy dogs.
so many people and talk about that, that lights my heart up.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, well, yes, I'm being yelled at by my producer lady that we have to go to commercial.
Okay.
We're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about a lot more with you because I have thoroughly enjoyed my research. So just after these messages, we'll be back to talk more.
Thank you.
Go, go. Stupid thing.
Thank you so much.
Fantasm Orlando returns to the Doubletree by Hilton at Universal Studios on Kirkman Road in Orlando with a very special night of the Demons reunion featuring legendary Scream Queen Linnea Quigley and Allison Barron with special effects master Nick Benson. Also featuring Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp and Crowley. And Rob Mello from Happy Death Day series. Submit your entries now for the Shockwheel Cinema Film Festival exclusively at Fantasm.
Igor, go and get me what I crave. Evening, Igor.
Are you good, Tommy?
If you want a better orange soda, made with more natural orange flavor than ever before, try Shasta. It's got the bright color, the sweet smell, and the great taste of oranges. Shasta. It's the orange soda that can make anybody happy.
Trick or treat! Darn, I knew I should have worn a costume. Yo, Bo Peep, what you got in your bag?
Introducing Roy Rogers' Big Chicken Deal. 2 plump and juicy pieces of fried chicken, hot, crisp fries, and a fresh baked biscuit. Roy Rogers' Big Chicken Deal, just $1.99.
Don't you even think about it.
Do it again. This stupid button.
So, I'm sorry. We're still sorting this out. We had terrible audio issues just a week ago, so
Hopefully this is better.
yes, whole new platform. So, as I was saying, we're back with Felissa Rose after the long commercial break. This whole, experience that you had with Sleepaway Camp. How does a kid go from being in a movie like that with a very mature concept and then go back to regular life as a kid?
It was difficult because I had missed the first part of 8th grade and then had to not only come back to 8th grade, which is a difficult year in a young person's life, but to also sort of have that grand experience and go back into the classroom. That was really, really hard. But I attribute my amazing parents to always being so supportive and loving. And my bigger family, all my cousins who lived so close by, they were all in the movie and they all helped me just sort of smoothly transition back to school. And I really didn't do a lot. I mean, I did a lot of musical theater, school, and a lot of commercials. But I recognized that I wanted to see if it was something I really loved and hadn't pursued it too much professionally.
Hmm.
Um, so I went on to college, and then in my 20s, I recognized that it was something I loved and wanted to come back.
Yeah, I read something about that they had immediately, I guess, wanted to do a sequel and a third film, and they asked you about that, and you had other plans with college. What happened there?
Um, when I was probably about 16, um, Michael Simpson, the director of parts 2 and 3, contacted the same manager that I had and said, "Oh, would Felissa like to come chat with me about the new sequels?" And I sat and talked, and then he showed me the script, and I so clearly remember reading Angela, and she was not the shy, awkward young woman that I
Yeah.
had been. She was kind of fun and wisecracking, and I just really didn't understand that
Yeah.
person. And I wasn't really a true actress. I hadn't trained or studied. And so in my mind, it just made more sense. He went and got the amazing Pamela Springsteen to play the part. And I had sort of already thought about that. And I had gotten into college. So I just continued along with my studies, went on to study acting, business and psychology and all the things I sort of had my mind set on. And then it was long after I graduated that I saw this is something I love. It's in my
Mm.
heart.
Yeah, I mean, your first project after Sleepaway Camp was television work, the Scarecrow and Mrs. King, correct?
Well, you know what? That I think that's a glitch on IMDb because I never worked on that, and I've seen a couple of things. Also, Prey. I think there was something
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
and I'm not in either of those. But I now that you're bringing it up, I'm like, oh, I should probably take care of it. I haven't been on.
Yeah. Well, I do my research and I look at all different sources, and you're right. It was reported on a few different sources that you were on that. I guess I should always be alarmed if I can't find any pictures from it.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
But, and who is Felissa Primavera?
that's ex who I'm married to. Um, somehow everything in your life stays with you. So that was in my 20s, a relationship I had. Yeah, and it's still stuck all over IMDb. So I feel badly for him. He's probably like, ah. But yeah,
Yes, I saw that and I was like, I gotta ask her about this because this is this is
that's
interesting.
hilarious. Yeah.
Yes. So you mentioned that in, I guess it was around the 2000s that you decided I want to hit this full force again.
It was because in 2001, we were contacted by Fangoria to do the Weekend of Horror in New York,
Hmm.
and I got back into seeing the cast, and recognizing that like this movie had some, gumption. There were now websites on the internet, and people were reaching out saying they really loved the film. So it was like, oh, kind of a resurgence in a
Oh yeah.
second time around.
And it didn't hurt, I'm sure, that I've seen you at shows. Most recently, I guess it was at Spookala when you were a guest there.
Uh huh.
The smile on your face and the guests when they're coming up and speaking to you, it's a different kind of experience with you. Instead of you sitting very quietly on one side of the table, you actually embrace your fans.
And it's so funny because I feel this way, honestly, that they're my friends. I go to conventions to meet people, and I always feel nervous and insecure
Mm.
because I'm afraid to approach someone, like, hi, I love your work. So I feel like I am so honored and so grateful that anyone would take the time out of their lives and their
Mm.
schedules to come and talk to me is still mind blowing. I talk about it all the time. My kids must be like, okay, mom, we get it. Like, go to
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
But I am really amazed by just the relationships. My best friend I've met at convention,
Mm.
like really interesting people. I respect and love at conventions, people I want to work with, So it's the most beautiful experience, and I'm so happy that I get to be part of it.
Yeah, it's surreal, I guess, for you and the fans.
It's unbelievable. Like, just the fact that we celebrate this genre so hard as a family, because this community takes care of each other. The horror community is like, people said to me, I was at a screening last week, and then someone came up to me and said, it's so funny because you're like the biggest dude with a beard and, tatted
Yeah.
hair. And he's like, would you like to pet my kitten? Or would you like a cookie that I made with my grandmother? Like,
Yeah.
it's the kind, and the point in saying that is it's the kindest, most loving, gentle, nurturing group of people you've ever met. Don't ever judge
Yeah.
because we are sincerely, although we love the macabre and the roller coaster ride and the adrenaline rush of movies, it's a group of people who are so sincerely loving and
Mm. Yeah. Well, I was talking to a friend about this. Actually, she'll be at the show as well. Tamara Glenn. We were talking about the familiarity that, you're at a disadvantage because you're coming into a situation not really knowing these people other than them having the appreciation for you as a celebrity. But you have been in our living rooms and in our lives, for decades. And there's a sense of familiarity when we meet you, but the fact that you are so warm and open to it in today's age is a miracle, and it's beautiful to see.
I never thought of everything in perspective, right? So I've never really thought about that. It's like, for me, I've been wanting to do a series about the convention circuit and follow like a bunch of amazing people like Kane Hodder or Linnea Quick, Bill Moseley, and leading up to the show, then being at the show, and then after, because there's a lot that goes on for us. Like I said, I have 3 kids, my animals. This weekend, like, my husband's on tour. He's a musician. So who's watching my kids? Where are they going? Them up from school.
Dogs.
Get on the plane, and then all I want. What was that?
Who's going to feed the dogs? Who's going to let?
Who's cleaning the litter box?
Yes.
Like, so much. Everything's out of my mind, and then I'm finally down. Incredible love and that is like no other.
Yeah.
I can't explain about. Like, what I cry a lot after the weekend, out of joy and out of gratitude, because like, wow, I can't cry my happiness. Like, I'm welled up with like, wow, that was really beautiful. I mean, so many great stories.
Yeah. And that's like, it's those moments though, because we're kind of beat down by the news and we're shown the absolute worst in humanity. But good people are out there, and these people are so wonderful.
Beautiful.
So
I say, family, we all want to go to.
Yeah. Kind of restores your faith in humanity. And I see you with a lot of these celebrities. I mean, to you, among you guys, you're just friends. And I see the photos like with you and Mark, it's, and, Mark from Nightmare on Elm Street 2, he's had a lot of challenges lately, and we followed his progression. But he's so wonderful. And everyone else, you don't have a stranger. You're like just best friends with these people.
Best friends.
That's the only way you can sometimes get through this stuff.
You're like, we're in it together. Everyone, all the vendors, all the guests, all the promoters. Like, to me, life, really, I hate like getting so philosophical, but I can't help myself. We're here on the show for like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy. Had a friend a necklace. Enjoy. I know why. Let's live joy as much as we can. You know, like my dad died at 20, and it was the most horrible thing. But the greatest thing for me was to understand, to live every moment, big and loud.
Yes. Yeah. We share something in that then, because my father passed when I was 17. So I am extremely aware of all the thoughts that probably went through your head.
My brother really sorry.
Yeah.
That's hard for a young man.
It's a lot to process, that's for sure. But, you know, I often have this conversation. I don't know, through the loss of a parent especially, and again, not to get too philosophical, but when you lose a parent at that age, you're a young adult. It does change the course of your life. And I wonder if we would be the same people if we didn't have that.
I went off the rails. You know, I lost my mind. It was so devastating. I could hardly catch it. And I probably didn't really feel whole, or I never will, but as whole as I could until I had my children.
Yeah.
And when I look through, you know, at that, I have a better sense of, like, what it's all about, what to do, how I feel. Now I feel like I've, you know, just, I'm so in love with that. I feel the love. And that's what life is about. Feeling love.
Yes.
Even if loving a horror movie, loving, you know, an actor, I love so many.
Yes.
I always say that they need a training order at conventions. I'm like, hi, Ken Forey. Hi, you know, hi, Tom.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to be Ken Forey's friend.
You want to be whose?
Ken Forey's friend.
Oh, yeah. Ken Forey, he is awesome.
Oh my.
Yes. So, I know we spoke a lot about Sleepaway Camp, and that's, of course, what you're known best for. But after the year 2000, things exploded. So, if you have time to stand by, we'll do one more commercial. And when we come back, we'll talk about what you've done and what you're still doing. Because I was looking at some of your projects that are coming out, and I'm like, wow, okay. So, if you can stick with us just a little bit longer, we'll have our final segment, and then we will be concluding the episode, if that's okay with you. We'll be right back then.
Say hi. You want to say hi? Hi. 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 You want to be on? I love you.
Come a little closer, madam. I want to tell you about something your children will love. Monster vitamins. They're fun. They're
Are you
screaming.
good? Come here, Fuzzy.
Babbly babble. Monster Mobile. Monsters taste terrific too, Mother. Your children should get vitamins by eating right, but when they don't, Mother, Monsters and Monsters plus iron sure help. My children love them. Right, kids?
What's wrong with Dracula? He's losing his monster power. So is Frankenstein. Quick, into the Monsterizer.
You can activate the Monsterizer, batteries not included, and imagine you're restoring monster power to Frankenstein. Figures sold separately. You crank him into the chamber. It closes automatically.
Activate the Monsterizer. I feel like a new monster.
The Monsterizer comes complete as shown. Frankenstein and Dracula figures are sold.
Welcome back to Monster Manor. So thank you for bearing with us through the long extended commercial break. And if you're watching us on Tingler Television, you're going to see totally different commercial breaks. We put that in there so we have the time, but just to give you an idea. So we're back with the beautiful and talented Felissa Rose. I don't say that lightly because she was many young people's kind of first crushes, I think. Despite the fact that it was a horror movie.
That's so sweet.
But then you hit the 2000s, and I was looking at your IMDb page. You had no fewer than 24 films between 2000 and 2010. And then another 58 between 2010 and 2020. How do you keep all that in your head?
You know, it's been like such a wild, incredible ride. And I never felt like I was an actor. I can't explain it. Like, you know, you always feel a little bit like you're an imposter. Like, what am I really doing? I think in the arts, especially because, you know, you're kind of just putting yourself out there. But with all of these projects, I've learned so much that it's been such a gift. And I've worked with some of the greatest people who I've learned unbelievable, just so much from. I'm amazed at some of this journey. Like, just my heroes, the people that I love, you know, it's been really fantastic and magical.
Yes.
I don't take it for granted at all.
Well, I mean, you've had a lot of pictures where you've been with the same actors. So you have that familiarity, I'm sure. It's like you're just falling back into the same groove.
It's been wonderful. I mean, there have been some really fun directors. Right. Sorry for my dogs.
Oh, that's okay. No problem. We love our animals.
No. They're the most excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because when I become a fan of a movie, like I'm a huge Adam Green fan. So I love the Hatchet franchise. And so I'm at a convention, went over to him, terrified, like, hi, my name's Felissa Rose. I just want to say I'm a huge fan. I love your movies. And then we started talking, and a couple of months later, he's like, I'm writing this movie. I want to talk to you about it. And then Victor Crowley happened, and that was dreaming. Just dreaming.
I'll bring on my mini Kane Hodder. He's never that far away.
Is another person who I've always been like completely mesmerized by.
Yeah.
Like I would go to a convention and pass him by like, and you know, now I consider him one of my dearest friends. I have a podcast with him, and I do tell him sometimes he'll call me and he's like, hey girlie, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe like you're calling me, you know. He's like, stop. Yeah. But it's so, you know, just really, really excited.
Yes. I think with him especially because he's also royalty in the horror industry. He's been in so much. And I mean, people love him because of his presence at conventions. And the thing that I was impressed with, and I was dealing with him through a kind of a middle person, or I was just a subcontractor when I sculpted his head for this figure. The humility in him, and I'm going to extend that to most horror celebrities because it's a different breed. There is not the pretentiousness with horror. It's just a bunch of people that love what they do and they love their fans.
Even the big guys, like Robert Englund, like it's me.
Robert Englund, yeah, he's another example. And you know, you of course, because people come into that environment and they see you and you are totally against stereotype. I mean, you were just so open and so warm. I was watching you from afar at that show and just seeing the magic. It's just your exuberance and your realness is just something that is beautiful to behold.
I really appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's why it's if you come to the show, if you're local and you come to Phantasm, you will have every opportunity to see all of these great stars. I mean, I've talked to a lot of them just in the process of Road to Phantasm, and keep sharing because we're still counting. Get as many people as you can to see Felissa.
Thank you so much for doing all that you do. Thank you. I always say it takes a village, you know?
Yes.
It takes every single person, guests, vendors, promoters,
Yeah.
you know, everything. It's very special.
I don't think I could stop it if I tried. I mean, this show even came out of basically during the pandemic. We debuted January of 2021, it was. And it was because we weren't seeing our friends, you know, Michael Berryman and all the friends that we saw at shows. And it's like, we got to do something. So this was kind of born out of that necessity because we wanted to see our friends.
Right.
And that's why I do it. I love the community.
That's what is beautiful and meant to be, when it's out of sheer joy, you know, when you really genuinely love something. And
Absolutely.
that was me. I had to figure out when I was younger, like, what do I genuinely love and feel passionate for?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can never phone anything in. I can't pretend. I'm always like, I have no filter. What you see is what you get, you know?
Yes. I love that. And I think a lot of that has to do probably with your Italian upbringing.
Very Italian.
Yes. I have Italian on my side of the family, and
So
there's nothing like a get-together, you know?
It's like, hey, no one can talk. No
Yep.
Everybody's shouting over each other.
Yep. They got their wine. They got their...
Food, eat.
Yeah. Yeah. I had an Uncle Frank. The typical, everyone's got an Uncle Frank, but this guy, man, he would just go out there and, Muncha, come on, what are you doing? You're not eating fast enough.
New York. I'm from New Jersey.
New York,
I'm
yep.
married a Greek Jew girl from New Jersey. It's the
Same thing.
It's
Same
the same thing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful.
But yeah, and I mean
I love it.
it's a good, like I said, it's a good life, you know, and you have to stop and enjoy things, you know?
Yes, every moment. Just, it was several years ago that on a New Year's Eve, I think it was like 2015, I said, I'd like to live presently. I want to really enjoy. I don't want to just get on a plane, get to my place. I really want to enjoy going to the airport and enjoy, you know, speaking with people on the flight and enjoy where I'm going. I always take the opportunity when I go somewhere to have food that's local to the area, do an activity. So I'm not just rushing through. I'm really embracing where I'm at. So that's been fun.
Well, I think you're going to get embraced a lot at Phantasm. I can't wait to meet you as well. This might be one of the only times I get to actually see you because your lines are always so long.
So fun. We're going to have a blast.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
I would be remiss. I know we're coming up towards the end of your interview, but I do want to ask you about one specific film because it's the only credit that you have that you wrote the script, and that's Camp Twilight. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I had been working for a company called Entertainment Factory. I was producing a bunch of films for them, Cold-Blooded Killers and Death House and a number of projects, Garlic and Gunpowder. And they had a script come through and they said, this looks really fun and we want you to play this crazy character. I was like, okay. And then they said, but it needs like a polish. And the director, Brandon Amelot, said, yeah, let's get together, you and I, and sort of, you know, rework it. And, you know, we tried to put our slant on it. I am not a writer, I recognized. And so I decided, you know, to sort of just be supporting Brandon. But they were so lovely to give me a writing credit. And I enjoyed the character and I enjoyed that filming in Florida.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it was a very young cast. And we had a good time. I tried to give it a twist. That was my sort of add-on, the beginning and the end. It's a little complicated, but the character was super fun to play. She goes through a lot, quite the arc.
Yes.
So
that's one that our viewers need to check out if you haven't, because it's very self-aware for a film. Camp Twilight. It was a really good film.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yes. So, what are you doing now besides Phantasm in less than a week now? What else is up for you?
Fortunately, conventions every weekend. In fact, I leave tomorrow to go to Tidewater in West Virginia. I'm super excited. That's going to be Virginia Beach. Woo. I am currently producing a number of projects. I have a movie, Crust, coming out, directed by my good friend Sean Whalen.
Yes.
Starring
I love him.
Fanny Robach. Stream is coming out, a great film by the Terrifier team, Fuzz on the Lens production. I'm producing a bunch of movies that super excited, new scripts that are so wildly original.
Yes.
Laugh. Another movie called Unseen. I have the new Shelley Duvall movie coming out.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. We have a picture of the beautiful Shelley Duvall in that article in, I believe it was People.
Yes, yeah. She is so special and as magnificent as you would imagine. The softest soul, the most beautiful eyes. Working with her was it transcended the dream come true. It was really sensational.
Yes, yes. And I mean, what she's gone through in her life, much less at the hands of Stanley Kubrick, I couldn't imagine being an actor going through that.
You know, it's hard when you're so sensitive and raw as we are as actors. It's difficult if when you go through circumstances like that. But fortunately, you know, she's in a great place and with her love, and I'm happy for her. And she's doing that with acting.
Yes, and what a beautiful woman. She's always been the best.
Oh my gosh, the most legendary. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry we've kept you a little bit over the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, you don't disappoint. That's the thing is, we were talking about this last week with Don't Meet Your Heroes, and you don't disappoint. You're so real and so beautiful, and we appreciate you coming on our show, and we appreciate you coming to Phantasm.
I can't wait. Everybody come hang out with us. It's always a party.
Yes, yes, absolutely, and we can't wait.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can't wait. Mwah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Bye.
So amazing. You know, I mean,
I know we talked a lot.
I have to pinch myself sometimes because I get to talk to some of the nicest people. And these nicest people sometimes play the most horrible characters. That's just the way it goes. But as you can see, Felissa is the real deal. And you'll get to see her and all of her friends at Fantasm Orlando. I hope you've been sharing this because we definitely want to come back and look at a lot of shares. You know, when you have someone like Felissa Rose take time to come out and talk to the fans, share it. Don't hide it under a rock. What else do we have coming up? I mean, there's so much going on in the world of horror and the convention circuit and everything. I definitely want to thank one of our good friends, Graveyard Offerings. You'll see them at most of the horror cons around there, and they have some really nice stuff. And you know, the mom and pop shops are where to go and to support artists like that. So please check them out, graveyardofferings.com. Always going to shout out them. And I'm always going to shout out our friends at Groot Vader's house. And you can find them on social media as well. So
I believe they're watching.
I hope they are. I love them.
Alicia.
Yeah, Anthony and Alicia, they're amazing. They do beautiful work.
But I did see her somewhere.
Yes. And if you're watching us in playback, check them out. They're on the web. What else do we have going on? Shock Reel Cinema is promising to be an excellent event. Shelley always knocks it out of the park. There are a lot of nice new surprises and stuff like that. We also have Boris doing his, I'm going to say infamous red carpet. I don't know what you call it. But this, it's just a really cool interview with the people that are on the show or have submitted films for judging in the film festival, and he has a blast, and every filmmaker there has a blast.
Night.
That is Saturday night. Yes.
Friday.
Friday, we have the live version of the forthcoming, very soon, Boris's Spooky Fun Time movie show. And this year's movie is none other than, and I got to do it in air quotes, they call it what? Maniac. But they added for the sensationalism, Sex Maniac. So that movie is from 1934, and it talks about the psychosis of the day. So every few scenes, they flip up like a card that shows what they're talking about in this film. So it's very interesting. It's very dated as well. But yeah, definitely a different side of the 1930s gothic horror type of thing. It was written by the man's wife, I believe, the director's wife, and they worked together to make this. And let's face it, it's not fine cinema.
It's interesting.
But it's interesting, and I think Boris will give you a lot to laugh about. There might even be some surprise guests. It's fun. It's fun. And, if you want to really get a taste of it, this is the way to see it. And then afterwards, you're going to watch it maybe when it's on TV, or you'll hunt for it on streaming services, and you'll be like, this just isn't as fun without Boris. Because that's the way it is for me. I saw it with him once, and seeing it again just to get my head around the concept, it just was never as fun. So I can't wait to see it with Boris, and he may have some surprise guests pop in, so we want to fill that auditorium. That'll be Friday. Yes, Prunducer Lady. Yeah.
You got a tater. I didn't get it.
Well, you got the Producer Lady Be Gone spray.
I don't want to be gone. I want a dolly.
Yes. Well, it'll come. It'll come. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that. That's Friday night, 7 until 9 at Phantasm. So, we're excited about that. What else do we have? We have some new product coming out. We're going to debut it at Phantasm. But we have some beautiful pictures just to wet your whistle and show you what we have coming out. These are in our line of basically, I guess you'd call knickknacks. They're knickknacks, jewelry, all sorts of stuff. But we have some very exclusive stuff. As you can see here, these are some pendants and some earrings that match. So we have all different designs. Some are throwbacks to the old classic Aurora model monsters. Others are more contemporary and newer. So we're going to be offering a smattering of these at Phantasm. So they're going to be debuting there. So you have your chance to get them there first. We have jewelry. We have Pez dispensers, which I got to show you the ones that I'm really, really proud of. We have the glow in the dark, and these are intrinsically glow in the dark. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a really good example, but let's see here. No. This stuff glows. I mean, this stuff is high glow. But I think if I just play with my light on this, Boris would be having a conniption. But yeah, you can see how that's glowing a little bit just by that. Oh, you're going to turn me off? But yeah, this impressed the heck out of me. She's trying to make it really dark in here.
And now it's not even getting
it's not
what it normally does.
Yeah, it's like, especially with sun, I guess that's just LED and it's not very bright. But with sunlight and ambient light, these things glow. And it works. It's actually a working Pez machine or Pez dispenser. And we're actually also making some exclusively for Daniel Roebuck of his wonderful character. And I can't say enough about this. I just love the Count from the new Munsters, Rob Zombie's version of the Munsters. I do enjoy it. And we were blessed to have the opportunity to work with him. And we've got even more projects coming out. So Danny, if you're watching, we have some news for you. This is going to be cool. So yeah, we have all sorts of stuff. And then for the ancient oldies among us, this is kind of a blast in the past. You remember these, right? These were from the Post cereals. You know, they had like the super, what was it? The super sugar smacks or sugar.
I don't know.
One of those sugary.
Doesn't exist
yeah.
anymore.
I didn't really care for the sugar cereal that much, but I bought and ate a lot of that stuff to get these. So they originally came with a Frankenstein, a Wolfman, and they had a Phantom. They were like little finger puppets. It's Phantom and the Mummy. So they had those. They never produced these, and I always wanted them. So a Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, of course, and there are better pictures. Obviously, she can pull up better pictures, and the Hunchback. But these are never before made. These were made by me to go with the other ones that these were scanned and cleaned up from digital files, and these were sculpted for these little things, so we'll have them as well. So there's a lot of stuff we'll be debuting at Phantasm. Not to mention our partner from 3DPS. You know him as Phil. He constantly will come on and harangue me, and I love him. But Phil from 3D Precision Scanning has a little venture called Necropets, and those will also be debuting at Phantasm. So you'll see all of the neat stuff that Necropets has to offer, along with all their regular stuff. You'll see the Necropets. I don't know how to describe them. They're just so cool. They have this very skeletal face, you know, because it's actually scanned off of an actual real skull. So this is like a science thing that you can bring home, because it's very exotic things. They were all basically just for archiving purposes, kind of like what you see in the museums with the giant dinosaurs. These are very similar in that a skull is recovered and scanned for science. So these are some of those scans that you get to take home with you, and they're beautiful scans. We had, what are some of the nice ones? Like the macaw?
There was a couple of different birds.
A rhesus monkey?
Some monkeys.
Gazelles? Yeah.
Reptiles, all kinds of stuff.
And I think in Series 2 we're even looking at some new designs. But Phil over at 3DPS, that company, kind of sister company to Dragon's Backbone, is Necropets. So I think it's NECROPETZ. Necropets. If you look at necropets.com. Producer lady, if you could look into that and see and just make sure, but I think that's what it was. Necropets with a Z. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming out of this place. Tingler Television, as usual. I got to promote our show on Tingler Television, because they're exploding. They are on, if you go to tinglertelevision.com, you can get all of the ways to watch us, all the updates. We're on Monday nights at 7, and I think he said starting this Saturday, we'll be back Saturday at 5. So you'll get 2 chances to see programming from Monster Manor during the week. So we're very, very grateful and honored to have those positions. But there are links to everything, where to view them. Right now on Roku, PlayStation, you can find us on their, basically on their, what is it called? Their uploader, or their, I'm not sure what they call it. But it's like a web browser for PlayStation, Fire Stick, and soon Pluto. This blows my mind, but they are working on getting Pluto, coming very soon. But if you go to tinglertelevision.com, you can see all of the places to watch us and all of the cool stuff. And they have a nice little merch area that you can go in and get some of the cool merchandise from some of the other shows that are on Tingler Television, like Beware Theater and Tennessee Macabre. I got to give them some props, and Creature Features. So we're among good company. Oh yes, the zombie cheerleader. Yep, she's on. Yeah.
She's got tchotchkes and stuff.
Yep. Yep, we like her. Yeah, and there's a lot of programming on there. Some of it is paranormal. Some of it is, clearly horror with a vintage bent. We love the vintage horror. There's just something about it. What else do we have going on?
Lake County thing.
Lake County Comic Con, that's in November. We'll have all of our updates on monstermanor1313.com as well. And you can always follow us on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere else.
Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok.
All the socials, we got them.
Yes. And we're everywhere if you look for us. The best little show no one's seen, because we're still, and we're getting,
have seen it.
Yes, we're getting a big push now. The live shows, they're never as good as the playbacks, and they're never as good on the playbacks as they are on Tingler. So the numbers just keep going up on Tingler Station, so people are seeing us, but a lot of the local people aren't. So that's why we're kind of asking, if you like the content that you see here, show your support. It's free. Hit share, hit like, subscribe on YouTube. It's free, and that's how you show people that you enjoy what they're doing, that you do enjoy what they're doing. Because like we said during our interview with Felissa Rose, we do this because we love it. We do this because it's a passion of ours to connect celebrities with the fans, however that looks. And it is a lot of work, but it's a lot of pleasure too. And I enjoy doing the research, and I enjoy all of that. But you guys can help by getting the word out there. You never know what can happen. Maybe we'll be on a regular network station or something like that. You can catch us at 2 a.m. So, never know. Are there any other announcements? We miss our friend Boris. He wasn't here tonight again because it's during the week. He has a hard time getting away from the master.
I think there's an early morning pickleball game.
Early morning pickleball? Yeah, he's kind of at the master's disposal.
Yeah, but they're going far away, so it's like up at the butt crack of dawn, like maybe before the butt crack of dawn.
Yes. So he will definitely be at Phantasm, though.
Yeah.
He will definitely be at Phantasm, and he will probably be back here. Is it Saturday? I think it might be Saturday. We'll take a look.
I guess it all depends on whether they win tomorrow.
That's true. They could go on to championships or something. Yeah. But pickleball. Who knew? Who knew? But
unless the master blows his knee out or something, breaks a hip, and then
yes,
then we're stuck with Boris all the time.
But yeah, but every time we do a show without Boris, we hear it from two sides. We hear it from the fans who are like, "Where was Boris?" And then we also hear it from Boris that you did a show without me. And not only did you do a show without me, but it was with Felissa Rose, or it was with this one, or it was... So, yeah, the guilt. But Boris is great, and we do love him. He is a part of our family, a big dysfunctional part of our family, but we love him. What else is going on? Fan appreciation?
I don't know.
We did have an episode I guess it was a month ago now, but we did a fan spotlight on one of our good friends, Charlie Arago, who had some beautiful, beautiful things in his collection, and he shared it with us. So if you guys have cool things in your collection, you can always hit us up. Email us at monstermanor1313@gmail.com, and you might be able to get your stuff on Monster Manor. And maybe even an interview, because we are taking some very choice people and bringing them in front of their peers in basically a fan spotlight. So, yeah, we're a different type of show. We do want to connect with our friends and our viewers. We had some very interesting things, without going too much over, but we had some very interesting things come up with our audio issues. And you probably know that if you've watched us over the last couple of weeks, we had some audio issues. We believe that was our streaming platform, because tonight's broadcast has been on our new streaming platform, and they've taken care of quite a bit. So I don't want to quite give names yet, but maybe if we do a couple of shows and it still sticks, then I'll be a little bit happier to share information like that. But yeah, hopefully this has been a little bit easier for you to hear us. The guests, sometimes it's a little bit harder to hear them because they don't have the fancy audio equipment. But this one was a much better experience as far as the audio and the visual, I believe. And that will continue in the future. So, any last thoughts, producer lady? Okay. Then on behalf of the absent Boris, producer lady, and myself, thank you for watching this episode of Monster Manor Television. Check us back on, I guess this time next week, for a follow-up with Tony, Shelley, and Ashley from Fantasm Orlando, pushed right before we get to the show. So, thank you all for watching. We hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and we'll see you soon.
You have created a monster and will destroy you.
She's alive! Alive!
I am Dracula.